the narrative is that the majority of black men, or almost half of black men, are in jail.
Ain't no good black men out there.
Yes, there are no good.
Most of them were drug addicts, in jail, homos.
The pool is slim when you take out the ones that are incarcerated.
Why black men currently and historically have been so comfortable participating in extremely degenerate behavior that would assure them lengthy stints in prison, and why it seems that these males are not only content with going to prison, but in a lot of cases actually strive to be incarcerated.
Let's stop this narrative that all black men are inherently dangerous because of the fact that it's a significant amount of us that are in prison or in jail, incarcerated. It's just not true. Out of the 330 million people that are living in the United States. So I wanted to discuss the prison rates because we all have heard, and again, I'm 43 years old, and this narrative has been being said by black women since I was maybe 6 or 7 years old. All the good black men are dead, broke, in jail, or gay. I'm pretty sure if you're a black man and you're about the same age as me, you've heard that before, right? It's like, what? What you mean the good men fall into these categories? What are we doing out here? What are we, chopped liver out here not, doing what we need to do to survive in this world? We not good black men? But yeah, so I wanted to pull these numbers up so we can clarify some things. I put everything into perspective. I got the numbers. This is public knowledge. If anybody ever wanted to look at it, the prison policy initiative, they break down everything. And I'm pretty sure you guys can't see that, but I'm going to go ahead and read it to you. At the top, it says how many people are locked up in the states. And let me shift this notes so I can read this off to you guys. So how many people are locked up in the states, in the United States? The U.S. locks up more people per capita than any other nation at the staggering rate of 573 per 100,000 residents. But to end mass incarceration, we must first consider where and why 1.9 million people are confined nationwide. I said that very slow because the narrative is that the majority of black men, or almost half of black men, are in jail, are incarcerated, when only across the whole United States, out of the 330 million people that are living in the United States, 1.9 million people are incarcerated. Not black men, people. So let's do the math real quick. If there's 20 million black men in the United States and there's only 1.9 million people incarcerated, that's a significantly low number compared to how many black men are in the United States. And also, I actually did the numbers just so I could break it down. Like I said, 1.9 million, and then 33% of the 1.9 million are black men and black women incarcerated. That translates to 627,000 black people that are currently incarcerated. There are 41 million black people in the U.S., 627,000 of the 41 million. That's 1.52% of the black population. 1.52% of the black population is incarcerated. That's not just men, that's black men and black women. So let's stop this narrative that all black men are inherently dangerous because of the fact that it's a significant amount of us that are in prison or in jail, incarcerated. It's just not true. Because when we start to use words like black on black crime, what that makes it seem, to society is that all black men are inherently dangerous. When if you look at the numbers, 1.52% of the total black population is incarcerated. So let's stop the narrative of saying that all the good black men are in jail. It's just not true. We out here. So if you're having a hard time finding a good man, that's just on you, lady. I'm sorry. So I hate to burst your bubble. If you thought that a third of black men was in prison, or if you thought 2/3 of black men was in prison, it's just not true. It's only 1.52% of all black people that are actually incarcerated. So if we go back to those 2020 numbers, there are 1,440 black female deletions and in the United States. So if you look at that, 1.52% were probably responsible for those 1,440 deletions because they're in jail. They got caught. So yeah, significantly low number, you know, and I'm glad, and like you, I'm glad you said that, Silent Lamont. I see what you said. I tried to explain the 1% on Bernard's show when they were trying to criminalize black men on the conservative side of the game. Yeah, man, like I said, sometimes in these spaces, it's just very tough to have a conversation because people are using what they feel. The crimes are being committed by a little over 1% of the black population. And black women, it's funny that we always have these discussions about black men. And even though we know now the number of black people in jail are significantly low, or incarcerated is significantly low, right? But black women always exclude themselves out of this conversation as if they're not the ones that's actually leading in women's incarceration numbers. Black women lead in female incarceration numbers. That's crazy, right? So these are the women's incarceration patterns for women, right? There are more women actually in local jails than there are in state prisons. And then if you look here, and mind you, this is from 2019. So this is very new. Now, the most people in prison are poor, and the poorest are women and people of color. So not incarcerated income is about $31,000. Incarcerated annual income, this is pre-incarceration for black men, it's about $17,000. And then for black women, pre-incarceration is about $12,000. So yeah, so most people are actually poor. And then if you look here, from 1978 to 2019, women's prison populations have grown faster than men's. And this is, like I said, this is before the pandemic, right? Women's populations were declining more slowly. So after peaking in 2008, women's prison population had declined less than 5%, but men's, after peaking in 2009, our prison rates have declined by almost 12%. So these are the numbers that we tend to just overlook. And then just to add a little razzle dazzle, the black imprisonment rate for black men has fallen by a third since 2006. If you look here, look at that. And this is for black men per 100 prisoners. It's about 1,500. So yeah, so we're doing well. So black men are doing our part. You know what I'm saying? I just wanted to put that in there just to add a little clarity and context to help people out. And let's go to the actual website so we can make things a little bit more clear. So, let me address this before somebody says anything in regards to, well, where are those numbers coming from? It's only coming from prison. I actually wrote this down for that fact. Together, these systems hold over 2 million, almost 2 million people in 1,566 state prisons, 102 federal prisons, 2,800 local jails, 1,500 juvenile correctional facilities, 186 immigration detention facilities, and 82 Indian country jails, as well as in military prisons, civil confinement centers, state psychiatric hospitals, and prisons in U.S. territories. So that I just put that in there just to answer the question if there's a woman or a black woman that's going to say, well, those numbers just come from men who are in prison. No, that comes from all those numbers, the 1.9 million and the 627,000 people, black people incarcerated. That comes from every type of incarceration or holding cells or confinement centers across the United States, from everything. So let's just dead that argument right now. That includes everywhere black men and black women would be incarcerated. I didn't even bother separating the number from the 627,000 because it's so minute. A little under 2% of the black population is incarcerated. So let's dead that narrative of most black men are in jail or in prison. No, most black men are good men. They ain't in jail. So it is what it is. Hopefully that helps.